Hey, welcome back to Cooking with Steffi. This is series 4 out of a 4-part series of making cupcakes and decorating. And this time we are going to be going over 3 different types of icings: buttercream, cream cheese, and my sour cream chocolate one. So first we're going to do our buttercream icing. There's just a couple of things. Now let me tell you, this is a little difficult for me because I don't measure. Sometimes you know when things are right. So I'm going to do my best to measure for you guys today. Bear with me. I definitely know I put a cup of butter in this, which is 2 sticks. So 2 sticks equals a full cup of butter. And I put a cup of shortening. Hold this to the side. Forgot my dump bucket, y'all. And believe it or not, I have a very southern twang, but I'm originally from New York, so you'll hear some of my words go back and forth because I've been in North Carolina for so long. So you'll hear y'all sometimes, and then you'll hear me say strawberry. So here's half a cup, and make sure that you're getting all of it. Saw how I, as normally, leveled it off to make sure it was even. And I actually don't scoop it, I press it down to make sure all cavities are filled. And then when I have no more space, then I level it off. And then I scoop it back out. That is a cup. It seems like a lot. And I use regular shortening because it leaves a crust. And now the crust is important when you're making cakes because you want your cake to hold in place. Not as important with cupcakes, but with, woo, y'all, I made a blooper. But with cakes, having a crust on it is real important. So me, I use I use regular shortening so that it will leave a good crust on top of my icing for preservation purposes. So I'm just going to blend these 2 together and put it on 2. Whatever you do, you start small, climb high. So I started on 2 and I'm going to bring it up and start whipping it on 6. So this, believe it or not, can be done with a hand mixer and by hand. The only problem is your hand's going to hurt a whole lot. And you have to make sure that your butter is completely soft before you begin blending it. But what it's doing is it made a cream. It creamed the butter and the shortening together. Let me show you. It made a cream. Okay. So I'm just going to take this cream and then I'm going to slowly stir in. Let me get all of it off this spoon. I'm going to slowly stir in 2 pounds of powdered sugar or confection sugar, whichever one you want to call it. So I'm going to do it on stir so I don't get splattered. You're going to see it's going to start looking like cornmeal consistency. Once I see that it's crumbly, I'm going to stop it and tell you a couple things. So it has like a cornmeal consistency because it's dry. Now, there are 2 options you have in life. If you don't live in the South, then you can put milk inside your icing. If you live in the South, there's something called Southern buttercream, and it doesn't change the taste of anything, but you can put water, which will lessen the chance of it melting during the hot seasons. So in the winter seasons, I use about half a cup of milk In the summer seasons when it's warmer, like today it's 80 something degrees, I would use water because I want it to hold firmness with my buttercream, and it won't melt as fast. So it doesn't change the flavor. It's just a little more richer if you have the butter. And if it's gonna be an air condition, it don't make a difference. You do the same amount, half a cup with each one of them. And I'm gonna pour this in, then I'm going to add the rest of the powdered sugar, okay? Turning it to 2 because it's starting to blend. Turn it to 4 so it can whip a little bit. So this is not the consistency we want, because remember, we have to add some more. If it's droopy like that, that means you do not have enough powdered sugar. And of course we don't have enough because I said to use the entire 2 pounds. So I'll scrape the sides to make sure everything's getting incorporated properly. And then I'm going to add the remainder of the powdered sugar and a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of vanilla, depending on what flavor you're having. For me, we're going to divide this into 2 sets of cupcakes. So it's up to you. I'm going to show you how to turn this vanilla into a banana flavor as well. So we're going to put it back on stir. Add our vanilla. And then add our powdered sugar. All the powdered sugar has touched the wet, we will turn it up so it can blend properly. Turn it to 6. We'll just let it blend for a good 2.5 to 3 minutes. We whip this icing into shape, y'all. If it feels like it's too thick for you and it's not moving the way you want it to move, you can add more or less depending on the thickness of water for consistency. For me, this is good. I don't want it to be too smooth. And so I'll just stir it a little bit on top of what I've already blended. Hold on 1 second, you guys can't get my paddle down. And so I will wipe this paddle off a little bit. Okay, so this is where I am dividing. Move this out of your way. I'm going to divide half of this to stay vanilla and half of it so I can make my banana pudding cupcakes, because I want to change the flavor and the color. So this can probably cover about a dozen. Probably about a dozen, yeah, a dozen cupcakes max, or maybe a 3-layer 6-inch cake or a 2-layer 8-inch cake. That's how much icing this makes. If you need to make more, you can double it, and I will put the recipe in the description box for all of you. So I'm going to take half of this. I got a mess over here. Wash my hands. Take half of this, and I'm gonna leave half of it like this, and then I'm gonna take this other half and I'm going to put a drop of yellow. Let's see if I have any yellow. 1 drop. And a teaspoon of banana flavoring. How fun is this? You can actually do so many different things adding these flavors. And then I'm just gonna stir that in. That's gonna be the separation and difference, that's it. And so, there goes my light yellow for my banana cupcakes. Okay, and so I have 2 different buttercream icings. Let's start with, move all this out of your way. Yeah. Yeah. Yummy, look at these cupcakes, y'all. Let me clean my hands. Shout out to my girlfriend LaSalle. She had my logo and everything custom made on my chef coats and hats. And shout out to my cousin Tia, who actually made my logo. Okay, so I'm actually going to fill the banana cupcakes, and this little handy dandy tool is also a Wilton's tool, and I think I found this at Walmart. And all I do is, I've done it already to most of them, but I want you to see, I just push down and twist, and it takes a portion of it out. Now you have an option, you can leave that portion out, fill it, and put this back in. Me, because I fill it up with so many things, I just leave this out, and either the kids can eat them later, or I can crumble it up and make cake pops out of it. That's a whole nother deal. So this is a banana pudding cupcake. So we are actually going to fill it with vanilla pudding and a banana on top of the vanilla pudding. So fill my piping bag. You see I fold this over so my hands won't touch anything. It's just cuffed. Flip it over, and then I flip it back over, and I kind of squeeze the first bit out to make sure it's even. And I just fill it. Fill each hole. I don't fill it all the way because a slice of banana has to fit in it. Okay. I'll fold this over and put the excess in there. I'm gonna have a real banana. Peel. Cut it from the middle. And I do a nice chunk. And it fits perfectly in that circle. Look at that, y'all. It just fits right in that circle. Like it was meant to happen. Now, I have a friend, Michael, who loves these. Sometimes I make it with my buttercream icing, and sometimes I actually make homemade whipped cream, and I make it with my whipped cream icing. My piping bags, hold on. So I have 2 piping bags already prepared. So my banana one is going to have just a flat tip, because I'm going to put a cookie on top and you really don't have to see much to it. See how I folded it over again? I cuffed it. It makes it easier to handle. And I scoop it in and I scrape it. Nice and simple. Shake it down, squeeze it, make sure it's even. And just don't put too much. You don't want to overload. You want an equal balance of icing and cupcake. But you still want it to look pretty. I'm all about the pretty. I even have edible glitter, y'all. And then we top it off with vanilla wafer. Can't have banana pudding without that vanilla wafer. Top it off. That's one. Look at that, y'all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're trying to make it for someone else, make sure all your cookies are going in the same direction. I think I have a child who has OCD, and if I don't put it in the right direction, he's like, why are the cupcakes that way? So we're moving on. We kept the vanilla the way the vanilla is because we're gonna do something special on those strawberries. And so I cut this one. This bag, I believe, is a little smaller than the other one, so we shouldn't have to add as much. Scoop that down. And I twist it so it doesn't pop back out. I just twist that top. And this tip is a star tip. And the amount of pressure determines on how your cupcake icing is going to come out. So I want to top this with strawberries. And you see my strawberries, I make it so that they have like a pretty fan tail. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. I think that's pretty. So all I do is I take the strawberry and I nicely, don't go all the way in. I go halfway to the halfway point and I slice it to the side, slice it to the side, slice it to the side until I'm at the back, and then I just press it with my thumb. So, right in the pretty side, slice it, just press it with your thumb. That's it. Just want to expose just a little bit of that inside of the strawberry. Go. They're all going in the same direction. Okay, so now I'm going to get cleaned up and I'm going to get ready to show you how to make a cream cheese icing. Okay, so now we're going to work on our chocolate icing, or chocolate sour cream icing. We use a little less of some things, so I only use 1/4 cup of the shortening. Again, I still push it in. You can see better with this one how I pack it in, and then I fill it to the top, and that's all the way through. So I use 1/4 of this, and I use 1/4 cup of butter, which is 1 stick. No, actually, I apologize. 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup is 4 tablespoons, so that's half of 1 stick. It's not a whole stick, it's half of 1 stick. I'm used to making a big batch, so I gotta remind myself I'm only doing half a batch. Then I will use 1/4 cocoa powder. Well, before I put the cocoa powder in, because it will go all over the place. Let's pull this up and blend our shortening and our butter together. Didn't take as long because we only have a little bit in there. Next, I'm going to add powdered sugar. We're going to use 1 pound for this recipe, because I don't need as much, but we'll see. We'll play with it to see if we need to make a bigger batch. Okay, so half of this bag is 1 pound. So we're gonna put on stir. And again, we're gonna let it get crumbly. And we're actually gonna add 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I'm using regular, unsweetened cocoa. I'm going to pour 1/4 cup of water. tablespoon of vanilla. Starts all coming together, so I'm gonna, now that it's all coming together, I'm gonna blend it a little more. You're gonna see some dust coming, and it's gonna feel like it's really thick. Hold that down. But because it's thick, this is where the beauty comes in. Now we're gonna add 1/4 cup of sour cream. Now I used to freak out. I don't care for sour cream. But this magical sour cream makes chocolate icing silky and smooth, and it takes the sweetness away. It's not too sweet. Scrape the sides a little bit because it doesn't seem like it's incorporating all the way. Gotta remember to do that, you guys. Sometimes it's just the top that's getting done if you don't scrape your sides. The sides, all the sugar and everything, all the yum-yums will be stuck. You want to make sure you get all of it incorporated. My favorite word to say. For me, because I'm making a smaller batch, it just seems a little too creamy, so I'm gonna put about 1/4 more powdered sugar, not too much more. If you think it looks too soft, do 1/4 at a time. Don't go monkey crazy and do a whole bunch at once, and then you gotta start the whole process over. Just a little will do, a little bit at a time. I think that should do us. Yeah, that should do us. That'll thicken it up a little bit. I should need. So I will pull this down, and we're gonna go from one to the other, and then we'll ice it and decorate. Oh my, it's actually gonna come on. There we go. And so this is what our chocolate looks like, which I've made a mess on here. I'll clean that up. This is our chocolate icing. It plops, and it can be thicker if you want it thicker, but it holds. So that's my chocolate. I'm gonna set it to the side because I want to show you how to make the cream cheese. And usually I make a big batch of cream cheese, so we're gonna do my normal. Clean that off. We're gonna do my normal for cream cheese. My normal big batch. Yes, y'all, I got 2 magical bowls. Thanks to the love of one of my girlfriends. Her name is Jan. Give her shout out. Okay, so we start with 2 sticks of butter, which equals what, you guys? It equals 1 whole cup. I hope y'all can tell I used to be a teacher. 2 sticks of butter and 1 pack of cream cheese, 8 ounces, 8-ounce block. Ooh, soften, not hard, not from the refrigerator. Let it sit out for about 30 minutes before you decide that you're going to do it. Oh, it peeled for me real nice. I don't even have to scrape it out. Might have to scrape a little bit out, but try to get all that I paid for. Don't want to miss him. This is the same cream cheese that I would use if I was making a cheesecake. Okay. And then, my hands on, 1/4 cup of shortening. Can you believe all this goes into my cream cheese icing? But it tastes so delicious. I'm gonna wipe this off because there's a liquid on here. I don't need my liquids mixing with my solid. Put this in here. I'm just gonna do 1/4 cup. Smash it all down. Scrape off the top. Okay. If you notice the chocolate and the cream cheese one, I don't use much shortening because they're already soft texture icings. So making a crust on it is just not gonna happen. They're gonna be soft regardless. Move this out the way. And we're gonna blend all of our, we're gonna cream all of our ingredients right here. And in case you're wondering, I do not use unsalted butter for my cupcakes. I have always used salted butter. The only time I use unsalted is if I'm making croissants or pastries. Takes a little longer because you have so many things that you're blending together. Okay, so now that it's creamed together, we're gonna add 2 pounds of powdered sugar. Just like we did with the buttercream. We're gonna do half of it now. Let it get a little bit crumbly. Add our sugar, add our water, and our vanilla, and then add the rest. So it's starting to get crumbly. I'm going to slowly add half a cup of water. Half a cup of water. And about a teaspoon of vanilla. I put my teaspoon away, so I'm gauging it. Cleaned up faster than I thought I should have. And then add the remainder of the powdered sugar gradually. I'm telling you, this is the best cream cheese icing ever. No complaints ever. Sometimes I'm asked, can I make this the filling inside my 3-tier and 2-tier cakes? So I'm going to push it up a little bit, push it to 4. Now you saw that I added water. Yes, you can add milk if you prefer. It's still going to be half a cup. And look at how thick this is compared to all of the icings. I'm going to show you how thick this is. It's not moving. Gotta shake it. It is so rich and tastes so good. I've already pre-bagged the chocolate icing that we made earlier. And now I'm bagging this cream cheese, and I'm going to show you how I decorated this chocolate and how we will decorate our red velvet with cream cheese icing. So with our red velvet, I always put a nice and pretty design. Look how smooth that is, because there's never much of a topping. I usually put red sugar crystals so that everybody knows it's red velvet, but since we're doing spring colors, I may incorporate a little bit of spring sprinkles in there. I don't know if I can run and get that while we're doing this, but with my chocolate icing, I actually bagged it up and I did a couple of them. And what I did was I added some mini chocolate, well, no, before I do that, I drizzle some chocolate syrup on top. This is death by chocolate, I'm telling y'all. If you have never had a good chocolate cupcake, this is it right here. And then I take some mini chocolate chips and I sprinkle them. And then I have a lady who I purchased on Etsy. Her name is Sugar Street Sweets. And you can find her on Etsy. But she makes glow-in-the-dark white chocolate chips. And it's fun and it's festive because of the color. So I politely place some of every color to make it nice and pretty. And she is the same person that I get my glow-in-the-dark sprinkles from. And so I will probably add her sprinkles to my red velvet cupcakes. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. So again, she's on Etsy, Sugar Street Sweets. She made me some glow-in-the-dark white chocolate chips and some glow-in-the-dark sprinkles. And the only reason why I'm using these is because I'm doing spring colors, and I usually have red sugar crystals on my red velvet, but because I'm doing a spring theme, I am going to stick with that color scheme. And the fun in it is these glow in the dark, so that's even more fun for everybody. And last but not least, the one thing I always add on all my cupcakes, you guys. The one thing I always add on all of my cupcakes, just so that you'll know they're mine, I always add a little bit of edible glitter. I don't know if you guys can see the prettiness in this. It just gives it an extra little touch of love. And some edible glitter. I think I get this off of Amazon. They have edible glitter on Amazon. And I get these. Sometimes I get it from the same lady, Sugar Sweet Treats. I get some of hers as well. So I get it from multiple places. So you have some options. But we did it, you guys. We went through all of it. This is our creation. We have taken the time to make 4 different cupcakes, 3 different icings, and it has been such a joy and such a pleasure. Once again, make sure that you subscribe and like. Make sure that you catch me on Facebook, catch me on Instagram. I even have a website, FlemingSweets.com. Whatever you do, make sure you keep in contact with me, keep in touch. I always respond back as much as I possibly can, and I can't wait to do more videos with you. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye-bye.